From fans loving the Attitude Era along with half the world to 2000s kids recently over the last couple of years really start to appreciate the Ruthless Aggression era into a new generation where WWE came into their TV in the early 2010s. To the fans that have the magnificent taste in wrestling, the PG era fans. Nah, the other eras are fire too, and I really don't think I'm just a PG era kid. I am also a Ruthless Aggression and even some Attitude era recently. The PG era is hands down the best era in terms of storytelling, athleticism, and just spectacle. So today, we'll take a look at why this PG era is so great. This video will be broken down like this. First, we'll start with the PG era's best rivalries, and then its overall culture, which includes video games, t-shirts, cultural impact, anything like that. And third, wrestling moments, because WWE is all about moments. How would we start off this PG era video without talking about the rivalry? John Cena versus Randy Orton. Ruthless Aggression and Attitude Era had their own big main rivalry, and this was ours. The rivalry first started in 2005 when they first faced each other, and over the coming years it would keep on happening, and this rivalry was a perfect one for the PG era. It really did set an example for a time where restrictions were becoming bigger on the wrestlers. PG meant they wouldn't really be allowed to say bad words or use over-the-top graphic spots, yet we still saw them attempt to blow each other up, use handcuffs, kick dads in the heads, insult each other, spit on each other, and eventually overcome the odds. This bragging rights promo is also probably at least top 2 as one of the best video packages in WWE history. The song fits so well. I don't want to get copyrighted, but it is fire. What about the stories that had the audience cheering for the underdog? The ones that felt like maybe the crowd was just the biggest part of the story, like the Yes Movement that started at SummerSlam 2013 with a near 5-star match and one of the most well done turns in the history of the WWE. One that was building the whole time to a big payout. Pretty much the whole Yes Movement storyline was
oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
Damn. That commercial was 10 years ago. The Authority becoming a thing with one of the most loved heroes ever on the title chase, which led to this. What a spectacle it was, which is another reason why the PG era is number 1. The spectacle of the shows the last decade has improved and gone on a whole nother level. Recent rivalries include an epic rivalry for the Intercontinental Championship between Gunther and Sheamus, where they put on a banger after banger after banger, from matches at Clash at the Castle to matches on SmackDown and Extreme Rules. What about the New Day and the heel run they had? One of the most entertaining and well complete teams came out of it, and the feuds they had with the Bar and pretty much every other team. NXT became a third brand and showcased rivalries that would be fast paced and just wrestling and work rate. If that's what you prefer, you loved NXT from 2013 to 2020. Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano and Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. The tag team rivalries were fire, and the women's were too. For a while there, Saturdays were all about the takeovers and wrestling. So real quick, I'ma just name the top rivalries from this era. Randy Orton versus John Cena. It's the number 1 thing from the years 2008 and 2009. Everything from the most clever play in title defense history to just the matches throughout the decade where they went back and forth. That one match in 2014 where they used each other's finishers. They had that bragging rights match and that epic promo package beforehand. Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker. This rivalry was dope in terms of the stakes, career versus streak. A legend got sent out in a 5-star match. The Rock versus John Cena. Simply put, nothing was bigger. Daniel Bryan versus everyone. This might have been the best pure storyline. The rest of the ones on here so far have been spectacles, legend versus legend, but this one turned from nothing to a spectacle. Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. The perfect dynamic of the squirmy heel and the guy ready to beat him up is perfect. There were some banger rivalries during this era. Overall, culture. From video games to movies, this era had it all. A game that just has PG era written all over it is WWE All-Stars. Something like this really only would have worked in this era, and this game was very fun. The graphics were great and still hold up today. Keep in mind, they had never done a game like this before, so seeing wrestlers fly and bounce around like crazy was and still is something great. The way the game moved, to the simpleness of the roster and arenas, to even the animations and game models, this game was so fun. The story modes were very clever and everything just flowed. The bright colors and PG kid friendly game just represented this era so well. Not to mention, in the PG era, we got the WWE Network. Back in the day, apparently people were wilding. Paying over $45 for a pay-per-view with the network, just like the commercial said, it's $9.99. Games on the Xbox also came out, like WWE 12, SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, 2K14, 2K15. There were also some cool action figures which were probably better than the last generations. The ones I saw had so much detail on them. Collectibles were also a thing, which I'm about to show y'all some fire cups. Now, if you had these and collected them, this was dope. This should happen today. And speaking of today, podcasts, movies, YouTube. It's kind of crazy to think about, but the WWE is everywhere today. If you really look closely, you can see that they kind of leave a handprint on everything in today's media. Like seriously, I'm gonna name a thing and I bet you WWE has had something to do with it. Credit cards, there's a WWE credit card. Shoes, there are some WWE shoes. Workout programs, WWE is there. Talk shows, of course, WWE is there. Pretty much everywhere you turn, a wrestler is there. Moments. The moments in every era of wrestling have been wild. Whether the Attitude, Ruthless Aggression, or even the Golden Age. The PG era is no different. Besides the fact that some of these moments have been so recent. The biggest moment of them all is probably one that took nearly a quarter century to build up. WrestleMania 30, where Brock Lesnar broke Undertaker's streak. Do you guys remember where you were? Let me know in the comments below. The moment that 3 count hit the mat, it was wild. The moment that brought me into wrestling is when the Nexus debuted and laid waste to John Cena and everyone in sight. This was cool. It seemed like there were just so many dudes all at once, and to be fair, there were a lot of members in Nexus, but something about them being from NXT, and eventually a lot of them would go on to have a pretty formidable run in WWE. Their match at SummerSlam 2010 was cool to watch. It was like the Avengers forming for Team Cena, and the storyline of John Cena being fired and eventually joining Nexus. In recent years, a moment that really shook it a spot on this video is Bianca Belair, her winning the Royal Rumble, going to the main event of WrestleMania, and main eventing, turning a blue chip prospect to a main eventer, and eventually having her drop the title in seconds at SummerSlam just to win the women's title at WrestleMania the following year. That whole storyline was a slow build and really went by so quick. That tells you how deliberate the storyline was. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but it was a really well done storyline. Wrestlers signing to WWE from other companies has been a big part of where WWE gets their talent in this era, and who is better than AJ Styles? In 2016, from the Royal Rumble to winning the WWE Championship. This run was entertaining, and the rivalry that stands out from here is John Cena. The promo wars, eventually the matches where the TNA main guy beat the WWE main guy, and it would eventually lead to John Cena winning the 16-time World Championship. Here are some top moments, fast, just to make sure we don't miss any. Floyd Mayweather breaks Big Show's nose. He legitimately broke it, and it was fun to see Money Mayweather there, not to mention the size difference on paper. It just made for a mismatch, but that moment worked. One of the best moments was just Michaels versus Undertaker. That whole match was the best match and the best moment. When John Cena and The Rock made their match official 1 year before, you just imagine. The PG era grew up with John Cena. The Ruthless Aggression grew up with John Cena, and this is their hero. This is a person that is representing them. And the Attitude Era people, they don't want to see John Cena win. They call him a Fruity Pebble, they call him all types of names. The Rock is leading those people. It's kind of like the Civil War of Marvel. It literally is. Like, even the colors, John Cena's shirt matches perfectly. When The Rock and John Cena faced off, when John Cena beat The Rock, Daniel Bryan wins the main event of WrestleMania, Randy Orton RKO Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, AJ Styles beats John Cena. I don't know what happened in 2017, but it feels like a fever dream. Jinder Mahal winning the championship though, and Kurt Angle teaming up with The Shield in 2018, because that was pretty cool. Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins feuding for the Intercontinental title. Triple H breaks into Randy Orton's home. Sin Cara debuts. Anything from this segment that saw Randy Orton do this laugh at SummerSlam 2015. Bobby Lashley winning the WWE Championship. So many great moments, so many great rivalries, such a big cultural impact. The PG era is the best era, and it's here to stay. Honestly guys, I really enjoyed making this video. This is a pretty fitting video for me. I really grew up through all of this, and I feel like showing some love to it. Like, subscribe, do anything to make my channel popping. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is it the best era to you guys? Peace out!